Greetings, welcome to the preview video for tomorrow, and as you can see I did things a little bit differently this time than usual because when you got 15 games you don't want to just rattle through everything exactly the same way you normally do. So I wanted to do things a little differently. So I set a cutoff. I said, okay, I want to talk about players who are at a certain level in 3 different categories, and then we can go ahead and discuss it. And that's what I'm doing, and yes, I've got 7 games on this board, 8 games on the other. And there's a magnet that we got while we were in Vegas watching the Beatles Love Cirque du Soleil. That's a fantastic magnet. It's the only way I can get it in a video. So there you go. That being said, let's go ahead and start things off with Boston. The Bruins are in Buffalo. Bruins are 20-14-4. The Buffalo Sabres are 21-12-5. If Boston's going to move up, they had better start doing it now because they're 1 point behind the Montreal Canadiens. And they are sitting, 42-47. They're 3 points behind Buffalo, which means that Montreal's 2 points behind Buffalo. So things are tightening up in the Atlantic Division. And for Boston, it's a big game on the road. Now, when we look at their records, this is where things kind of favor the Buffalo Sabres, but this should be a fun game. On the road, Boston is 7-9-4. In October, they were 7-3-2. November, they were 7-4-2. In December, they've been 6-7. So I have some concerns as a Bruins fan, and they're realized in that. Buffalo, they're 12-4-2 at home overall. They were 6-4-2 in October. Of course, in November, they were excellent, 11-3-1. They've been 4-5-2 in December. So both teams with a below 500 record in December. And we'll see which team comes out with the win tomorrow night. Should be interesting between the two. Goals leaders on the Boston Bruins, and I just went to 10. Anybody but less than 10 goals, I'm not mentioning them. Pasternak, 23. Marchand with 12. Bergeron with 12. DeBrusque with 10. Hits, I made the cutoff 80 hits. Wagner has 113. Achari, 93. Corrali with 85. Ice time. I just went with the ice time leader for the team. That's Torrey Krug with 22.5 minutes per game. Solid numbers for Krug. When you look at the Buffalo side of things, Skinner, 26 goals. Eichel, 15. And they're the only ones with 10 or more goals for the Buffalo Sabres. Hits, Ristolainen meets that goal. He has 118 overall. And when you look at his ice time, he is sitting with 25 minutes and 35 seconds per game. So he is getting 3 minutes and 5 seconds more per game than Torrey Krug, and Krug missed some games with injury, so Ristolainen is having a workhorse-type season. Goaltenders, Rask has been confirmed. He's 8-8-2 with a 2.72 goals against, 911 save percentage. Jaro Halak will be the backup. He's 12-6-2 with a 2.28 goals against, 928 save percentage. On the Buffalo side, nobody's confirmed yet. I would say Hutton is a good bet. He's 13-11-2 with a 2.64 goals against, 916 save percentage. Ullmark has only lost 1 in regulation, so maybe they go with him. 8-1-3 is his record with a 2.71 goals against, 922 save percentage. So it's a matchup between two teams that really desperately kind of need to get on the winning track because there are other teams behind them that seem to be getting hot. Look at the Islanders tonight as a good example. They won tonight. If they can win an unlikely victory tomorrow night against Toronto and Boston loses, then they would pass Boston. And that's just because of the fact that they have played less games than Boston. And if Boston loses in regulation and the Islanders win, Boston finds themselves on the outside looking in at the playoffs. It is that simple. Next up, Vancouver. So the Canucks are 18-4. Again, I mentioned this before, getting above 500 seems to be a challenge for this team. I don't know how much of that is psychological. I don't know how much of that is just, they're learning. But they're in against the Flames. You're going to learn. You're going to learn with the Flames. 23-12-3. The Flames looking to prove themselves as the best in the West. And this is a good challenge. It's a good rivalry, and it should be fun to watch. On the road, Vancouver's 9-9-3. They've now only played 2 more games on the road than at home. And their record is similar at home and on the road. October, they were 8-6. November, of course, was brutal for them. They were 3-8-3. December, they've been 7-4-1. So outside of that brutal November, it's actually been pretty good returns for Vancouver. The problem is every month counts. You can't just call the league and go, we were thinking about getting a mulligan on that November we had. Calgary is 11-4-3 at home. So if you look at the records, 9-9-3 for Vancouver, 11-4-3 for Calgary. That favors the Flames. If you look at the record each month, they're better than Vancouver. October 7-5-1, November 8-4-1, and December 8-3-1. Yeah, I know at the end of October, Vancouver was ahead of them when you look at the overall points, but I think Calgary had a better month. Anyways, goals for Vancouver. Pettersson has 18, Horvat has 17, Besser has 13, Virtanen has 11. On the hit side of things, Tyler Mott, 92 hits, Del Zotto 86, Virtanen 84. Virtanen has started playing that sandpaper role, so he's on there with 11 goals and 84 hits. Canuck fans will take that all day. Goodbranson, 80 hits, he just makes the line. Alex Edler, 22 minutes and 54 seconds per game. When healthy, Edler's been pretty solid. And we'll see if they keep him and they try to extend him or if they try to move him out. It depends on how Jim Benning feels. Does he feel like they're a playoff team? Does he feel like they're rebuilding? Where does he think they're at? And what does ownership think? On the Calgary side of things, Monahan, 21 goals. Gaudreau, 19. Lindholm, 17. And Tkachuk, 16. That's a pretty fantastic top four right there. That's a lot of goals from those four guys. Hathaway's the only hitter with 80-plus hits. He's got 87. Ice time leader is, of course, Mark Giordano with 24 minutes and 38 seconds on average. Goaltenders tomorrow, I would expect Markstrom in this situation. Nielsen is 3-7-1 with a Nilsson is 3-7-1 with a 3.01 goals against, 900 save percentage. Markstrom is 15-10-3 with a 2.84 goals against, 909 save percentage. On the Calgary side of things, I expect Riddick. Riddick is 12-4-2 with a 2.22 goals against, 926 save percentage. Smith, 11-8-1, 3.00 goals against, 888 save percentage. And I think, honestly, Smith is now the backup. Riddick's the starter. I think it's a 1A, 1B situation, but I do think it is Riddick's job to lose right now. And he's earned it. He's done actually quite well for himself. Okie dokie. So moving on. Dallas. So fresh on the heels of the CEO coming out and ripping the core guys, they get to play tomorrow night at home against Detroit. This should be interesting. Coming off of a huge victory on the road in Nashville, now you have to ask yourself, are they going to be somewhat distracted by the fact that the CEO and a guy who has some say in things that happen with the team has called out two of the core guys in the manner he has? Should be interesting. Dallas is 19-16-3 overall. Detroit is 15-18-6. So those numbers favor Dallas, but Dallas has been really hard to figure out lately. On the road, Detroit is 7-9-3. In October, they were 3-7-2. November, Detroit had an excellent November, 8-4-1. December, they've fallen back. They're 4-7-3. On the Dallas side of things, they're 11-5-1 at home. That's a solid record. That would seem to favor them against Detroit. In October, they were 6-5. November, 7-5-3. And December, 6-6. So that's where I get nervous because the records overall are just sort of, they're okay. And when you look at it, they've won 19, they've lost 19. So they're okay. They're not great. They're not bad. And you can never tell from one game to the next necessarily what you're getting with Dallas, which is the fun of being a Dallas fan right now. On the Detroit side of things, Larkin has 16 goals. Athanasiou has 12. Nobody else has 10 on the team. Hits, Abdelkader has 98. Glendening has 95. Your ice time leader, Green, who's been injured, 21 minutes and 56 seconds on average. Goals leaders, this is where it gets awkward. Jamie Benn has 15. Sagan has 11. And Radulov also has 11. Hits, Como has 100. Polak has 92. So some interesting Dallas numbers there. Ice time leader is Klingberg with a 24 minute and 56 second average. But when you look at the goals, you look at the points, you look at everything Dallas, you're kind of left wanting. And I think, and I'm going to mention this in this way, when you look at Ben and Sagan on their team, you go, they're the key guys. But when you compare them and their numbers to the numbers of players on other teams, it is that there's just a little bit less coming from them. And whether it's Jim Nill's inability to get them the space they need or get them the time they need to produce or get them the support they need so they don't have to face the top guys all the time, I don't know. Goaltenders, I would expect Howard, if healthy, for Detroit. He is 10-9-4 with a 2.72 goals against, 921 save percentage. Bernier's 5-9-2 with a 3.47 goals against, 893 save percentage. Bishop's been confirmed for Dallas. He's 12-9-1 with a 2.31 goals against, 923 save percentage, which makes Hudobin the backup at 7-7-2, 2.63 and a 920 save percentage. So your bet's as good as mine on this one. Again, do Sagan and Ben come out tomorrow night and kind of stick it to the guy and come out and maybe Ben gets a hat trick or Sagan gets a hat trick, or are they going to be upset and not very happy about the way things are going in Dallas right now? And sadly, right now Dallas is in a playoff spot. Do you really need to take this time right now to distract everybody from that? Just rude. Okay, next up, Montreal. So coming off of a victory in Florida, I hope they enjoyed it because now they're going to Tampa. Montreal's 20-13-5. They're in against Tampa, who are 29-7-2. Now remember, Montreal's in a playoff spot. Right now, Tampa has 29 wins, so that's 58 points, plus 2 is 60. Montreal's 15 points behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we're not even halfway through the season yet. And yet Montreal can look at their season right now and say, we're doing pretty well. That's how excellent Tampa Bay has been. That's how crazy this is. They're on pace for about 125, 126 points. And if they go on another long winning streak, we're going to be looking at reports of, hey, could they catch the 132 points produced by the Montreal Canadiens in 1976-77? We are eventually going to get to those reports of could they reach that record. Now, do I think they could? It'll be tough. They won't hit the record for losses in a season. I think the Canadiens had 8 losses that year, but it's a very impressive record Tampa's putting together. Now, when you're looking at it, Montreal on the road is solid. They're 10-6-3. In October, they were 6-3-2. 5-6-3 in November, so they struggled November. In December, they're 9-4. Montreal's been excellent in December. Tampa Bay at home is 16-4. In October, they were 8-2-1. November, 10-5-0. And in December, they're undefeated in regulation. They're 11-0-1. And that one blemish there is, of course, that overtime loss against Winnipeg, which felt like a Stanley Cup final game. So, excellent record for them. On the Montreal side of things, Gallagher 15 goals, Domi 14 goals, Tatar now has 14, and Drouin 12 goals. Hits, Petrie now has 105. So Petrie's having an excellent season. Ice time, Weber leads the way with 25 minutes and 26 seconds on average. On the Tampa Bay side of things, Stamkos 22 goals, Point 22 goals, Johnson 17 goals, Kucherov 17 goals, Killorn 10 goals, Gourde 10 goals. This is why it's really hard to pick out one Hart Trophy contender from the Tampa Bay Lightning, because there are so many players playing really, really well. It'd be very difficult to pick a guy to win that award off this team. Hits, Paquette 125, Girardi 82. Ice time leader is Hedman with 22 minutes and 40 seconds. And I'll go out on a limb and say that'll go higher as the season goes along. Hedman's play usually gets better as the season goes along. Your goaltenders, I'm expecting Niemi tomorrow night. He's now 5-3-1 with a 4.01 goals against, 877 save percentage. Price hasn't traveled with the team, so I'm guessing we won't see him there tomorrow either. 15-10-4, 2.84 goals against, 904 save percentage. On the Tampa side of things, I expect Vasilevsky, but they're not scared to go with Domingue. Domingue's 15-4 with a 2.99 goals against, 904 save percentage. Vasilevsky 13-3-2 with a 2.54 goals against, 923 save percentage. I've mentioned just how excellent Tampa's been this year, right? It is insane, the record that they've put together. Absolutely just crazy. All right, next up, Capitals. They're 23-10-3. They're in against the Ottawa Senators, who have to be concerned. Shabbat got hurt tonight, and they lose again. They're now 15-19-4. Any hopes of maybe being an underdog to get into the playoffs, they're gone. They've faded. They're done. As an example, they're 11 points behind Montreal, and they're a heck of a lot of points behind Tampa. So Ottawa's had that correction, and it hasn't been kind to them. And we'll get to that when we look at the monthly records. Now on the road, the Capitals are 11-5-1. In October, they were 5-3-2. November, they were 10-4-1. And they're 8-3 in December. So Washington has really picked up their game. On the Ottawa side of things, at home they're 11-6-3. In October they were 4-5-2. November 7-7-1. December so far they're 4-7-1. So it's been a rough ride for Ottawa fans, and it seems like we're starting to hit that part of the schedule where maybe they're just sort of going through the motions, and it'll be interesting to see what Pierre Dorian does, because he has to make a decision. You can't sell off because you don't have the draft pick. So this is the first time I can think of in ages where a team doesn't necessarily want to draft high. They may not mind missing the playoffs, but they don't really care where that draft pick is because they don't own it. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle things going into the trade deadline, especially with Stone and Duchesne. Do they try to, maybe if they can't swing a deal, maybe if they can't sign these guys, they swing deals where they get back first-round draft picks? All right. On the Washington side of things, Ovechkin, 29 goals. Oshie, 11. Vrana, 11. Backstrom, 10. Wilson, 10. Ovechkin scored 18 more goals than the second highest goal scorer on the team. Those 18 goals would almost all the way across this board here make him the top goal scorer, just with those 18 goals. So if you took away 11 and you said, okay, we're going to take away the number of goals scored by the guy behind you on the goal scoring, he'd still, yeah, it's crazy. I know he hasn't scored in a few games, but that hasn't stopped Washington from winning. Hits, Ovechkin leads there too, 107. Niskanen, 91. Ice time, Karlsson leads there with 25 minutes and 26 seconds on average. On the Senators side of things, Stone, 17 goals, Duchesne, 15, Dzingel, 13, Shabbat and Tkachuk with 10. So Shabbat being out those 10 goals from the blue line, that hurts. And it hurts for a team that was already below 500 and struggling to win. Ice time, Shabbat led there, 24 minutes and 16 seconds. Again, doubtful he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow. I haven't seen for sure, but I'm guessing he's not going to be back tomorrow. Goaltenders, I expect Holtby here. Holtby's 15, 8, and 2, 2.72 goals against, 915 save percentage. But if they go with Copley, there's not a huge difference. 8, 2, and 1 record, 2.67 goals against, 912 save percentage. McKenna's likely starting again because Anderson's hurt. Anderson's 14, 13, and 3, 3.58 goals against, 905 save percentage. McKenna's 1, 4, and 1 now with a 3.96 goals against, 897 save percentage. And yeoman's work by McKenna, and I've said this before, I don't know that he's an NHL level goaltender. All right, next up, Islanders, 19, 13, and 4, and they have to be chomping at the bit to get into the playoffs right now. Let's see, the Penguins are 19, 12, and 6. So if Pittsburgh loses in regulation and the Islanders win in regulation, there's numerous ways they could be in the playoffs tomorrow night. They're in against Toronto, though. Toronto's 26, 10, and 2. They're not going to be an easy team to cast aside by any means. And Toronto's coming off of a win, as are the Islanders. Should be a big matchup. On the road, the Islanders are 10, 8, and 1, so impressive record there. In October, they were 6, 4, and 1. November, they dipped 6, 5, and 2. Now in December, they're 7, 4, and 1. So nice, even, steady record. And Trotz is definitely showing that he is one of the best coaches in the league. Toronto, 12, 5, and 1 at home. They were 8 and 4 in October, 10 and 4 in November, and they're 8, 2, and 2 in December. It's a pretty solid record for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who would lead any division except the one they're in. And I'm really anxious to start seeing all the complaints about that if we haven't seen them already. Why is our team number 2? Why can't we just change the whole status of the way the playoffs are done? Because our team's the second best in the East. It's been that way forever since I started watching. Anyways, goals leaders for the Islanders. Lee has 14 now. Nelson 12. Beauvillier has 11. And Cizikas with a goal tonight reached 10. On the hit side of things, Martin now has 109. Komarov 99. And Clutterbuck has 85. Ice time, Pulock leads the team there with 22 minutes and 52 seconds per game. On the Toronto side of things, Tavares 26 goals, Matthews 19, Kapanen 14, Riley 13, Marner 13, and Marleau with 10. So you've got 6 guys with 10 or more goals in Toronto. That's some pretty solid depth scoring. Hits, nobody has 80. Ice time, Riley leads the way with 22 minutes and 28 seconds per game. And Morgan Riley's numbers are excellent. He may very well end up getting into some Norris Trophy considerations. However, that ice time could hold him back. They will usually vote for a defenseman who's playing a lot of ice time. Like, that's why they love Doughty. Doughty hits. He has tons of ice time. He's always out there. He does kind of everything on the ice. Riley doesn't have that same gravity to his game yet. On the goaltending side, I don't know where the Islanders go. Greiss was out of the game. Leonard goes in. I have no idea. Greiss is 12-7-1 with a 2.62 goals against, 917 save percentage. Leonard with the win tonight goes to 7-6-3, 2.35 goals against, 920 save percentage. Honestly, I would probably go with Leonard, personally. On the Toronto side, Anderson's been confirmed because Sparks started tonight. Sparks is 6-1-1 with a 2.88 goals against, 910 save percentage. Anderson 29-1 with a 2.5 goals against, 923 save percentage. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a team that are I would qualify them as one of the top teams in the league, but they're sort of soldiering along, and I think because we sort of expected it, I think it kind of gets underrated by a lot of people, probably myself included. Probably underrate the Leafs. It's probably something I've done. But when you're in the same division with Tampa, that kind of happens, and that kind of lends itself to that argument that having two of the best teams in the same division hurts. Could be a great second round, though, if they meet each other. All right, next up, San Jose. 20-12-7. San Jose has started to get it going. Every time I say that, they fall apart. San Jose fans are going to get mad at me in the comment section. I know, I'm sorry. But they're 20-12-7. Oilers are 18-16-3, and the Oilers have started looking like the Oilers again. Ken Hitchcock can't be happy with the way things have been going for the Oilers lately. And for detractors who said the Oilers weren't that good and they just had a bump under Hitchcock and they were going to come back to reality, right now, so far, that has proven to be correct. And I'm as surprised as anybody that it hasn't taken that long. On the road, San Jose is 8-8-3. In October, they were 6-3-3. November, 6-6-2. December, they finally got that record on the plus side at 8-3-2. So it's not a great record that they have overall, but they've started picking it up. On the Edmonton side of things, they're 10-7-1 at home. They were 6-4-1 in October, 6-7-1 in November, and 6-5-1 in December. So mediocrity all around for Edmonton, and it'll be interesting to see what Hitchcock does to fix it. Because when he came in, the defense worked, everything was going great, and then the offense started coming too, and it looked like they really got their game figured out, and now, nope. Goals. Pavelski leads San Jose with 23, Meyer with 18, Couture with 13, Hurdle with 13, Evander Kane has 11. Hits. Brendan Dillon, the only one with more than 80 for San Jose, he's got 93. Ice time leader is actually Erik Karlsson with 24 minutes and 44 seconds per game, which is why I do still think San Jose, once January rolls around, they're going to work very hard to sign Erik Karlsson, because even when Erik Karlsson isn't producing a whole bunch of points, he's a horse out there. He plays a ton of minutes, and as the season rolls along, I would expect him to have better synergy with the other defensemen, with his own goaltending, with everybody, and the points will come. And all of the stats for him have been solid. Just the goals and points aren't where we're used to them being for him. On the Edmonton side of things, McDavid, 19 goals, Draisaitl, 18, Chason with 16, and Nugent Hopkins with 13. Hits, a lot of hits from Edmonton. Lucic, 139, Larson with 114, and Cassian with 99. Your ice time leader is Klefbom, which also exposes a weakness. However, with Klefbom out, I think Darnell Nurse has come into his own. 25 minutes and 25 seconds is the average ice time for Klefbom. We'll see if that stays that way when he comes back, or if they hand more of his duties off and maybe he doesn't play that many minutes. Jones is confirmed as the starter for San Jose. That's right. 15-8-4, 2.83 goals against, 899 save percentage. Please, Martin Jones. Okay, you and me. Right, let's just listen. You've got to get that save percentage up over 900. I know you have it in you. I know you can do it. Dell is 5-4-3, 2.69 goals against, 904 save percentage. On the Edmonton side of things, I have no idea who they're going to go with here. Koskinen, 2 saves on 6 shots in that last game. He's 11-6-1, 2.52 goals against. His save percentage is down to 918. Talbot, 7-10-2, 3.11 goals against, 896 save percentage. Against San Jose, I might go with Talbot. Got to be honest, I might just go ahead, roll the dice, and go with Talbot. That said, I now have to change boards. Okie dokie, so we got Minnesota and Winnipeg tomorrow. Minnesota and Winnipeg. Central Division battle that should be very interesting. Minnesota's 17-16-3. Winnipeg is 24-11-2. These teams, do you know what? It's not that long ago that actually Minnesota was ahead of Winnipeg. Winnipeg was a wild card team. Minnesota was in the top three with Nashville and Colorado, and that is long forgotten because these teams are going in very opposite directions. This is a chance for Minnesota to try to dig their way out of it, but I don't know that I can see it happening right now. I don't. They've had a really hard time lately. On the road, they're 7-10. Doesn't help. They're 7-3-2 for October. They were 7-6 in November, and they've nosedived. 3-7-1 in December. Winnipeg at home is 13-5-2. In October, 7-4-1. November, 7-4-1. December, 10-3. So the overall record, pretty solid. Their month by month record, pretty solid. And I know they've looked underwhelming at times, but when you look at it overall, Winnipeg's been pretty amazing. And they're trying to hold that number one spot ahead of Calgary. So just think about it. We are now in an age where both Winnipeg and Calgary are two of the best teams in the West. Fun time for Canadian fans to watch hockey, unless you don't like Winnipeg and Calgary, in which case, I'm sorry. Or Toronto. Toronto's another one too. It's kind of it's going to be a fun playoffs this year. I really think that. I think if we're looking for a Stanley Cup in Canada, this year might be the best chance we've seen for it. Scoring for Minnesota, Parise, 16 goals. Stahl, 13. Dumba, 12. Granlund, 11. And Zucker with 10. Hits. The only hitter with more than 80 for Minnesota is Foligno with 99. Ice time, Suter leads the way with 26-14. They routinely wear out Suter, so that by about the halfway mark of the season, now his play starts to dip. And then by the end of the season, it's obvious he's been overworked. They've done it 2 years in a row. This would be the third year in a row that I've followed them, that I've watched them do it. So let's hope that doesn't happen. On the Winnipeg side of things, Laine leads them in scoring with 23 goals. All 23 of those were scored in a 3-game period, it would seem. Scheifele, 22 goals. Ehlers, 15. And Connor, 13. Laine's weird that way. He is so, like, we talk about streaky, but it feels like Laine takes it to a whole new level. And Minnesota hope he stays cold. Minnesota Wild hopes he stays cold. Hits leaders, Tanev with 108 and Lowry with 95. So Lowry's dad would have been very happy with those totals. 95 hits. Excellent for Adam Lowry. And Tanev's a hard hitter like his brother Chris in Vancouver, even though Tanev doesn't quite get those hit totals still. Ice time leader, Byfuglien, 24 minutes and 39 seconds on average. For Winnipeg, of course, he only got a fine today, not a suspension, so he plays again tomorrow. Goaltenders, nobody's been confirmed. I kind of expect Dubnyk for Minnesota. He's 12-13-3, 2.66 goals against, 911 save percentage. Stalock's 5-3 with a 2.6 goals against, 903 save percentage. On the Winnipeg side of things, I expect Hellebuck. But Brossoit's been excellent. 8-1-1 with a 2.11 goals against, 939 save percentage. Hellebuck 16-10-1, 2.91 goals against, 909 save percentage. How long until Paul Maurice starts giving Brossoit more starts? If the stats stay that wide apart, does he start giving Brossoit more starts and say, you know what, we're going to give this kid a shot? We will find out. Next up, Arizona. The Sad Sack Coyotes. And it's been a rough month for them. They're 16-19-2, and now they're going into play an Anaheim team that should be angry, and they're 19-15-5. So angry Ducks, maybe? We'll see, and we'll see what it does to Arizona. Arizona's having a rough season. You'll see when we get to the statistic part of things, too. On the road, Arizona's 9-9-1, so they're actually better on the road than they are at home. They're 6-5 in October, 5-6-2 in November, and 5-8 in December. So it's been a rough month for them. And other than, October, they were one game above the 500 mark at 6-5. It just hasn't been a great run for them since then. Anaheim, 10-4-5 at home. They were 5-6-2 in October, 8-4-3 in November. Right now, they're 6-5 in December. So if they lose this game at home in regulation, they fall to 6-6 in December. You better bet they're not going to want to be doing that. And Randy Carlyle should have these guys ready for this tomorrow. But scoring's where it gets interesting. Richardson leads Arizona in scoring. He's the only guy with 10 goals. 1. They're on pace for 1 or 2 20-goal scorers, and Richardson's one of them. Krause leads them in hits with 103 ice time. Ekman Larson leads them there with 23 minutes, 52 seconds. No one is surprised by that. On the Anaheim side of things, Aberg, 11 goals. Silverberg with 10. Nobody else has 10. Manson leads them in hits with 95. Ice time. Lindholm leads them in ice time with 25 minutes and 23 seconds on average. Goaltenders, I expect Kemper for some reason. He's 5-10 and 2. 2.77 goals against, 912 save percentage. Hill, good play. 6 and 3, 2.2 goals against, 918 save percentage. They've both been pretty solid. It hasn't been on them. On the Anaheim side of things, yeah, I don't know. Gibson's 15, 11 and 4, 2.53 goals against, 926 save percentage. Johnson is now 2 and 8 with a 3.36 goals against, 888 save percentage. We'll see what happens with Anaheim there. The Ducks need to win this one. I'm not going to put an Akbar magnet on this as a trap game because to me, this is a division rival. They should know what they're dealing with a division rival. This is a team that they can beat. Arizona cannot score goals. Anaheim also has problems with scoring goals. That's why I was highlighting. You have 1 with 10 goals in Arizona, 2 with 10 goals in Anaheim. That's it. And your number 1 goal scorer in Anaheim is Pontus Aberg. Yeah, anybody who puts up their hand and says, oh, I figured in the preseason Aberg would be their best goal scorer, you're a dirty liar. You're an absolutely dirty, filthy liar. And I don't know that there's much hope for you, but welcome to the internet because that's common around here. But this is going to be an interesting game. West Coast game, one of the last games of the night. And so I will definitely be checking this out. Along with, there's a game in LA that I will definitely be checking out. And, yeah, Florida's not on the West Coast. Yeah, those will be the 2 that I'm checking out. San Jose's and Edmonton. Oh, that'll be a late game because Hockey Night in Canada reasons, right? Edmonton's got to hate that. If you're in Edmonton and you really hate the fact that your games sometimes start at 8 o'clock, like if I was in Vancouver and games started at 8 o'clock, ugh. I get mad enough about the 7:30 starts down in California. I'm like, why is it starting so late? I can't imagine a game starting at 8 here. Next up, here's your matinee game. Carolina. They're 15, 16, and 5. They're in against these guys, the New Jersey Devils, who are 13, 6, and 16, and 7. And they won't be wearing these pretty suckers. This, of course, is your red and green in honor of Christmas, which was days ago. But we're having our Christmas tomorrow here because, remember, we went to Vegas. And so the kids were away. So we're having our Christmas morning tomorrow morning. Family coming over, turkey, the whole bit. Christmas is whatever day you make it. So here you go. For Christmas Eve, I thought I should wear my Christmas jersey. So yes, we're having Christmas with kids. Banning our kids. Anyways, the New Jersey Devils are 13, 16, and 7. But I have a good feeling about them winning this one tomorrow, and let's get into why. First off, it's a matinee at home. And New Jersey traditionally does well in matinees at home as far as I know. Somebody's going to dig up a record that shows they don't. On the road, Carolina's 6-9-1. They were 6-4-1 or 6-5-1 in October, 6-4-3 in November. In December, they've been 3-7-1. So Carolina's been struggling. On the Jersey side of things at home, they're 9-4-4. So now they've technically lost 8 out of 17 at home. So their home record isn't what it was. But hey, it's still favorable to the road record of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Devils were 5-3-1 in October, and then Cliff, 4-8-3 in November, 4-5-3 in December. That's just not going to get it done on any level, and that's why they're sitting where they're sitting. Goals on the Anaheim. On the Carolina side of things, Aho with 15 leads the way, Ferland with 11, and Svechnikov with 10. On the hit side of things, Ferland leads the way with 96. We'll see if his game's affected by him coming back off a concussion, if he hits a little bit less, if those numbers come down. Martinuk, 94, DeHaan, 88, and Stahl with 84. So a lot of good hitters in Carolina. Ice time leader is, of course, Jacob Slavin, 23 minutes, 23 seconds on average. Goals leaders for New Jersey. Here they're surprisingly strong. Palmieri with 19, Hall with 11, Coleman with 11, Zajac with 10, Hischier with 10. So that's 5. Not bad. Your hits leader, Coleman with 90. So again, there's some good things going on there. Of course, Coleman taking that nasty hit from Bacchus. So, yeah. Ice time leader is Sami Vatanen with 22 minutes and 7 seconds. No confirmation on the goaltenders. I'll say Mrazek for Carolina, because why not? He's 6-8-2 with a 2.59 goals against. His save percentage is above 900 at 901. Are you watching Martin Jones? Mrazek's got a better save percentage than you. Yeah. Why are you still watching the review, Martin Jones? Why? McElhinney's 7-4-1 with a 2.42 goals against, 918 save percentage. On the New Jersey side, I kind of expect Blackwood, to be honest with you. He's 1-1 with a 2.15 goals against, 939 save percentage. He's getting Corey Schneider completely out of the game. If you didn't see, we've officially passed 365 days as of yesterday since Corey Schneider had a victory in the NHL in the regular season. Sadness. Kincaid, 12-10-6 with a 3.02 goals against, 901 save percentage. He could get the start. I could see that against Carolina, a team that struggles to score. You want to get Kincaid's confidence back. Maybe Carolina's the elixir, the one that's going to get that fixed for you. Either way, I expect a pretty solid game between these two teams. Probably kind of loose, and maybe you'll see a lot of goals in this one. Potentially, anyways. Next up, Vegas. 21-15-4. Ooh, brand new shiny magnet. Look at that. I bought that in Vegas. Yeah, I go to Vegas, and what do I buy when I go to the store? Magnets. Raise your hand if you're surprised. You're new to the channel, welcome. So I came back with a brand new shiny magnet, 21-15-4, and look who they're playing. They're playing the Kings. 15-20-3 is the Kings' record. The Kings really believe they can get back into this. They've won 4 in a row, and they believe that the season's still young enough that they can get back in the race. I don't think they have much chance. But that being said, I admire their moxie, and we'll see what they do against a Vegas team that's proven to be kind of vulnerable on the road and has had trouble closing out games for the last little while. On the road, Vegas is 9-12-1. In October, they were 5-6-1. November, 9-6. And December, 7-3-3. So the overall numbers are solid for Vegas. On the LA side of things, at home, they're 9-10-1. That's not quite good enough. In October, they were 3-7-1. November, 6-9 this month. In December, they are 6-4-2. They're not in Detroit. That's what happens when I'm putting too many letters on the board at once. It's like whenever I write Killorn on the board, I always write a D instead of an N, so it's Killord or Killord. I'm not sure if I'm trying to create a supervillain in Tampa or not. Anyways, so in December, LA was 6-4-2. Goals leaders for Vegas: Carlson with 14, Marchessault 13, Tuck 12, Eakin 11, Pacioretty 10. It's a good group of forwards. We'll see if Peary gets on the board again tomorrow night. I'm sure Vegas fans will be watching him. I'm not sure if there's an elite forward here, but Carlson's as close as you're going to get. Hits: Carrier has 200. Reeves has 150. I'm guaranteeing you right now, that's better than some teams' top 9 for hits. And then McNabb, not shabby, with 99 hits as well. Ice time leader is Schmidt with 22 minutes and 47 seconds. They rely on Schmidt a lot. On the LA side of things, Brown's the only one with 10 goals. Muzzin's the only one with 80 hits. He's got 89. Your ice time leader is Drew Doughty, as I said, 26 minutes and 35 seconds. Norris voters love seeing that kind of a number for ice time. Even if he's not necessarily A+, awesome, fantastic all the time, that's it. Goaltenders, I expect Fleury. Fleury's 21-10-4. I saw 2 of those 4 live. 2.6 goals against, 908 save percentage. Subban, likely the backup because his numbers are bad. He's 0-5, 3.48 goals against, 888 save percentage. On the LA side, I expect Quick. Quick's 5-8-2, 2.92 goals against, 903 save percentage. Please play Peterson. 5-4-1, 2.61 goals against, 924 save percentage. Peterson is an excellent goaltender. Absolutely. While I was not cheering for the Kings when I watched them live, Peterson's positioning is fantastic. So hopefully he gets more opportunities before Campbell comes back and then he gets sent back to the American League because he doesn't have to clear waivers, so that's the easy move to make. All right, next up, Philly. 15-16-5 Philly in against 15-15-6 Florida. Here's a stinker for you. 2 teams that have a really hard time getting on a roll of any sort. Both teams have trouble keeping the puck out of their own net. Both teams struggling defensively, but both teams with guys who can score a bunch of goals. So this could be a fun one. Not if you're a coach, though. I don't feel that it's a fun one if you're a coach. Now let's look at their records. On the road, Philly is 8-8-3, so they're mildly better on the road than at home. In October, they were 5-7. November, 5-5-2. And in December, 5-4-3. So just meandering through. Florida, much the same. They're 7-6-4 at home. They were 2-4-3 in October. Of course, they played a lot in November, 8-6-1, and in December they're 5-5-2. So rough loss for them against Montreal. Now they got to bounce back and play the Flyers. And the bad news for them is they have to play against the good goaltender for the Flyers, who's kind of arrived early. Wasn't scheduled for now, but Flyers fans will take him. Couturier leads the team in goals with 14, Giroux 13, and Simmons with 11. On the hits side of things, Haig 117, Gudas with 107. Ice time, Provorov leads them in average ice time with 24 minutes and 46 seconds. On the Florida side of things, your leading goal scorers, Hoffman with 17, Dadonov with 17, Barkov with 15, Vetrano with 10. So there's guys who can score. Keep the puck out of the net. Goaltenders. Actually, let's get to this. Hits, Petrovic with 81. Ice time leader is Barkov with 22 minutes and 59 seconds. Thank you very much. When a forward's leading your team in ice time, there's two things with that. One, it shows that you've got a forward you really believe in. And two, you don't have that horse on the blue line. You don't have a guy on the blue line who's getting more than 23 minutes a game. In net, Philly's confirmed. Neuwirth will be the backup. He's 1-2-1, 4.8 goals against, 835 save percentage. Carter Hart gets a chance to be a star again tomorrow. 2-1 with a 2.36 goals against, 904 save percentage. I'm anxious to see the kid play. Very much so. Against a Florida team that will likely play Reimer because Luongo played tonight. Luongo's 8-7-1 now with a 3.07 goals against, 902 save percentage. Those numbers are not Luongo-like. Reimer's 6-7-3, 3.45 goals against, 888 save percentage. Those numbers, unfortunately, are kind of Reimer-like. Florida has problems. Philly has problems. But tomorrow night, this is that somebody has to win game. We have those on the board, and I mentioned them, and this is that game. Somebody has to win. I'll take Carter Hart. I'll go ahead and say, you know what? Sure, Philly. Why not Philly? Why not? They should have, that should be their slogan on the side of the building. Why not Philly? Why not? Pittsburgh, 19-12-6. City of Champions and the Pirates. In against the 15-16-4 St. Louis Blues, who also might qualify themselves as a City of Champions thanks to the St. Louis Cardinals and the Blues. And so for Pittsburgh, this is a big game. This is one of those games that, yes, this should be a win. Go ahead, go into St. Louis and beat them. St. Louis has been underachieving this year. Just go in and beat them. The thing is, St. Louis has had a half-decent December. They dug themselves into such a hole that it's kind of hard to see it, but they've actually had a decent December. On the road, Pittsburgh is 8-5-4. In October, they were 6-2-2. November, they were 4-7-3. December, so far, Pittsburgh's 9-3-1. They were trying to win their 10th game of the month. So, St. Louis, be aware. At home, St. Louis is 9-9-2. In October, they were 3-4-3. November, they were 6-8. This month, they're actually 6-4-1. It has been a half-decent month for September. Baby steps for St. Louis. Baby steps getting back to a half-decent record and then maybe go higher. I don't think St. Louis planned to be in this position, and I still think they have the manpower you need to get better. Scoring. Goals for Pittsburgh. Kessel with 16, Crosby with 16, Gensel, who just got paid, 15, Hornquist 13, and Malcolm with 11. Hits. Johnson leads the way with 109, Alexiak 91, and Zach Aston Reese has 85. Minutes, Letang plays 26 minutes and 4 seconds per game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. On the St. Louis side of things, O'Reilly has 14 goals, Perron 12, and Tarasenko has 11. Tarasenko, I'm guessing, would admit he's disappointed in the goal totals as well. We just haven't had the CEO of the Dallas Stars come out and say how he feels about Tarasenko yet. That should be an interesting conversation. Maybe we can do that every day where he just comes out and says, who else is horse excrement? Hits. Nobody's hit 80 for the Blues. And ice time, Pietrangelo, 24 minutes and 37 seconds. Of course, that's when he plays. Goaltenders, I expect Murray in this one. I have a funny feeling they're going to play Murray a lot. Murray's 8-5-1 now with a 3.3 goals against, 902 save percentage. DeSmith 11-6-4, 2.42 goals against, 926 save percentage. If they go with DeSmith, they don't lose anything. So I mean, there's a 1A 1B situation in Pittsburgh as well. Bennington, no record, 3.18 goals against, 833 save percentage. Allen needs to show that he can stay hot. He's 13-10-4 now with a 3.01 goals against and a 903 save percentage. Considering where Allen was, that 903 save percentage looks fantastic. It wasn't that long ago we were talking about Allen's career possibly being done. And I'm still not convinced that the saga with him is done. Pittsburgh could come in, lay a 4 spot on him in the first period. He gets pulled, Bennington goes in, and then we're talking about it again after the game and how Allen's just not the guy. And it's going to take an extended period of solid play from him to have that narrative change. Next up, Rangers, 15-14-7 in against the Nashville Predators, who are 22-14-2. The Preds have fallen on hard times. And I haven't made a big deal of it because there are a number of guys who've been injured for them. But it is getting harder and harder not to report on it and not to start having some concerns about Nashville. I think if you're a Nashville fan, the good news is most of the other teams in the division have been meandering behind them as well. So Minnesota's fallen off. Colorado hasn't been a world beater lately either. While Winnipeg has pulled ahead of them, there really hasn't been a whole lot of pressure from anybody else, which is good for them. Because, if there was another Winnipeg-level team in the division, Nashville could actually have some concerns. Rangers on the road is nothing but a concern. They're 4-10-2. They were 4-7-1 in October. Of course, the Rangers had that November with 9-4-1 as their record. They've been 2-3-5 in December. That's just not going to get it done. The 5 overtime and shootout losses keeps them in the conversation, but they've only won 2 out of 10 games in December, so that says a lot. Nashville's 14-6 at home, so those numbers totally favor Nashville. October they were 9-3. November they were 8-5-1, and in December so far they're 5-6-1. So they're trying to even their record, and they might have the right team coming to town in order to do exactly that. Goal scorers, Kreider leads the Rangers with 19, Zibanejad with 11. Hayes and VC both have 10. Hits, Shea has 90. Ice time leader, Pionk. 22 minutes and 56 seconds. Nobody thought Pionk was going to be the leader in minutes played this year for the Rangers. That's just not a thing. On the Nashville side, surprisingly sparse. Forsberg, 14 goals. Craig Smith has 10. Nobody else has 10 on Nashville. Hits, nobody has 80. That surprised me. Yossi leads the team in ice time with 25 minutes and 27 seconds. Roman Yossi, an absolute beast. Does not get enough consideration when it comes to the Norris Trophy. I've been a big fan of his game for a long time, and we'll see if this is the year that he gets some consideration due to the fact that Subban's been out for as long as he has. So maybe with Yossi in a major role, and maybe due to the fact that they don't have a top goal scorer, and yet their record is still decent. Again, they're losing in December, but it's decent overall. Maybe Yossi gets more consideration for that Norris than he has before. Goaltenders, I expect Lundqvist. Lundqvist is 10-9-7 with a 2.87 goals against, 913 save percentage. Georgiev is 5-5 with a 3.2 goals against, 899 save percentage. On the Nashville side, I expect Rene, because it's Saturday night, 14-9-1, 2.15 goals against, 925 save percentage. Not that long ago, Rene's goals against was below 2, and his save percentage was in the almost 940 region. Saros is 8-5-1 with a 3.05 goals against, 894 save percentage for the Nashville Predators. So we'll see if the Predators can turn things around against a Rangers team that looks like they should be quite accommodating. Sadly, if you're a Rangers fan, quite accommodating. All right, and last but not least, yes, we finally reached the end of this marathon preview for tomorrow, which by the time it's posted, I'm guessing the first game will be over. Chicago's 14-20-6. Do not be deceived by the record of the Blackhawks. Something's going on there, and whether it's long-term or just short-term, Colorado can't be caught asleep at the switch. They're at home. They're 19-13-6. So Colorado's record has started to erode, and they haven't had a great December. Chicago on the road is 6-12-2. Not great. In October, they were 6-4-3. November, they were 3-8-2. December 5-8-1. Remember, they had that huge losing streak. It counts. You can't just take that out and say without the losing streak, their record would be this. No, that's not how any of that works. However, their December, they've started turning things around. I know they're 5-8-1 in December, but baby steps, right? On the Colorado side of things, they're 8-5-3 at home, which is not fantastic. In October, they were 7-3-2. November, 8-3-3, and in December, 4-7-1. So the magic has started to fade for Colorado. This is a big test. It's a division rival. They should not get caught napping by the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm not putting a magnet up here saying it's a trap game, but I'm telling you, it very well could be. It absolutely could be. Colorado cannot get caught napping again. Kane, 20 goals for him to lead Chicago in scoring. DeBrincat, 17, Taves, 16, and Saad with 11. Your hits leader for Chicago is Martinson with 80. So he just makes that line, right? Ice time leader is Keith with 22 minutes and 31 seconds. If Duncan Keith is still your number one guy for ice time at this stage in his career, it shows that Chicago really needs that prime defenseman to take his place. We'll see if Boquist is the guy or Yoki Haru is going to be the guy, but for right now, it's still Duncan Keith's spot. Goals leaders for Colorado, Landeskog 24, McKinnon 22, Rantanen 16, and then Soderberg and Compher both have 10. Your hits leader is Zadorov with 96. Your ice time leader is actually McKinnon with 22:01. So Colorado has the same issue that we saw with Florida in that they don't have that minute munching defenseman, that horse on the blue line that can go out there and play a 26-minute game like a Doughty. And we'll see if that's maybe something that Joe Sakic looks into, is picking up a top 4 defenseman to really help augment what's going on with the back end and how much that might cost them. Goaltenders, I kind of expect Delia, to be honest, for Chicago, which would make Ward the backup. Ward 6-6-4 with a 3.9 goals against, 886 save percentage. Delia is 2-0-0 with a 1.5 goals against, 964 save percentage. On the Chicago side of things, Grubauer, I kind of expect here 8-4-3, 3.09 goals against, 904 save percentage. Francouz. Remember Francouz when he came over and we were like, who's Francouz? Yeah. He's 0-1 now, but his save percentage and goals against, not too bad. 2.05 goals against, 955 save percentage. Those numbers are serviceable. Absolutely serviceable. And Varlamov, 11-8-3, 2.79 goals against, 913 save percentage for the Colorado Avalanche. So, there you go. I understand I was standing off to the side, so you guys couldn't really see me, but hey, I got to make sure you guys can see the board. For those who are not on their phone and can actually read it, people on their phone are just looking and going, I can't read this. But anyways, there you go. So 15 games. You guys are all set for all 15 games, I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, I went with a little bit of a different format than usual because I enjoy using different formats so that we don't look at the exact same stats every single game. And I thought this way I could fit 15 games onto 2 boards. The way that I normally do the top scorers, there's no way it would have fit onto 2 boards. I would have had to use 3. So, and that just would have been a big headache for me, even though I can use 3. But hey, what we've learned is I have too many boards. I have a lot of time to do these videos. And now I got to throw all of the timestamps into the video for you guys as it uploads. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the hockey. Should be great fun tomorrow. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Gotta love this game. And yes, there will be a power rankings tomorrow night because there were 13 games last night, 3 tonight, 15 tomorrow night. That's 31 games plus the games that were played on Sunday. And there was, no, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that took off. So it was Sunday games as well. So that's 4 days worth of games. And yeah, I'll go ahead and do a power rankings and we'll see where everybody's at. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Make it worth doing this. I'll talk to you again soon.